Okay, and I'm back. So, I just finished episode 5 of the MCU's Hawkeye, and I gotta tell you, it's by far the best episode yet. So, let's break it down. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Okay, so like I said, best episode so far, easily, hands down. From beginning to end, I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, I'm gonna break it down, but I wanted to get that out of the way because the show's finally starting to get good, I think. And I believe it's because this was the first non-kiddie episode. It was actually, you know, for a normal, mature audience or whatever. But like I said, I'm starting to get hopeful. I've entered the point where I'm like, you know what? This could actually go somewhere. This could actually be relevant. This could be something that wasn't, you know, like Falcon the Winter Soldier, which was basically a massive waste of time, or Loki, which made no fucking sense ever whatsoever. But all right, before I get into all that stuff, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch, and on Instagram at Super Dario World and at Dario SDW. I load a bunch of stories there. I got pictures from my trips and all that stuff. That's the easiest way for you to contact me. Either of those. The easiest way, honestly, is just join me live on the stream. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. ish. I'm usually a little bit late. I have stuff to do. But what am I going to do this week? Let's see. This week is going to be an interesting one. Let's see. The Witcher season 2 came out, so at one point I want to do a review for that. Before, I used to do like the whole. I wanted to do the breakdown episode by episode. But it doesn't work with Netflix. It doesn't work when they release an entire season just, you know, at once. So I'm probably just gonna do a whole season review, and because I've only watched one episode so far, and I thought it was great. What else? Oh yeah, for Taco Tuesday, Cowboy Bebop got canceled already on Netflix. So I want to have a lot of fun with that tidbit of news, and I promised I'm gonna watch a few episodes so that I can actually, you know, rip it properly. Let me see what else is going on. So it's got Christmas. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this week, but there's stuff going on, and you know what, you'll see it when you see it. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Hawkeye. So like I said, best episode so far, and the reason why it's the best episode so far is because they actually took things seriously. They still clowned around a little bit, but there are very serious moments on this show. It's kind of it's the darkest episode of the season so far, easily, and they're starting to do things that are, you know, for mature audiences, and they did not treat the audience like they're a bunch of idiots. So that's always a good thing. So you know what, instead of me just saying what happened, I'm just going to show you. I'll just go a little bit breakdown bit by bit like we always do. So let's get into this. Is it this one? Yes, here we go. So the episode begins in 2018. We get like a bit of a flashback here, and it's great because you get to see Yelena. For those of you who don't remember who Yelena is, that is Black Widow's sister, who's also a Black Widow assassin. Also, very important to point out, she's not Natasha's blood sister. They just grew up together. Anyway, so we end up realizing that she's on a mission to basically free other Black Widows, right? Because other Black Widows, you know, they were. If you watch the movie Black Widow, basically, we discover that Black Widows are the new generation. At least they've been they're controlled with toxins, you know. And so she has the antidote, and she's trying to free the rest of the Black Widows or whatever. And here she has a conversation with another Black Widow who turns out was never actually, you know, under anybody's control. She tells him, "Oh yeah, I'm a murderer for hire. And I'm a murderer for hire because I'm an assassin for hire, because there's a difference between an assassin and a murderer." Anyway, so they're talking about like the plans. Yelena's like, "Oh yeah, well I'm gonna free the rest of the Black Widows, and then I'm gonna go meet up with my sister Natasha in New York, and we're gonna live Sex in the City lives or whatever, blah blah blah." And so Yelena decides, you know, I gotta go to the restroom. When she goes to the restroom, here we have a fantastic moment, and it's because she blips, right? It's the blip. This is the snapping. It's the moment where she disappears, but we also get to see what happens immediately afterwards. I think I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is the first person we've ever seen reappear. We've seen a lot of people disappear, but I think Yelena is the first one that we actually see reappear, and everything's different. So for her, it's like something weird happened, and all of a sudden she's back at the same spot. So honestly, I thought that was fantastic. That's something that we haven't seen. And you know what? It's interesting because we haven't seen it. And it's one of those situations where like, whoa, though, this is how it feels like for them. Like you blink or you have like a bizarre moment where you're like, oh, what's happening? And then everything's different. That's super, again, to me, that's super interesting stuff. I don't know why they haven't done this before, but good that they did it now. So we get to see that happen to Yelena. And so she comes back and her friend's like, holy shit, hey, you were gone for 5 years. That was really weird. And so she basically explains the situation where, oh yeah, well, our other friend, you know, she became an assassin as well for hire. She's making good money, blah, blah, blah. And Yelena is like, all right, I got to go find my sister. Now, at this point, we know that Natasha's dead. So we kind of figure how this is going here. And here's the thing that's kind of weird for me. So Yelena literally, like 2 minutes ago, said, oh yeah, I want to go to New York and live out, you know, my life with my sister Natasha and Sex in the City, blah, blah. She wants to go release the rest of the Black Widow assassins. Now, I understand why you can't release the rest of the Black Widow assassins, but they probably disappeared. They're probably dead or whatever, or their lives have changed. I mean, you could still do it, but I can understand how that plan's changed. But her way to honor Natasha, you know, Natasha's sacrifice is to go become an assassin. That's pretty strange because Natasha kind of rescued her from that. So, all right, that's just bizarre. Unless Yelena has some bigger plans here, which she could. She's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna get in good with these guys, and they'll lead me to X, and X could be whoever killed Natasha. Now, who knows? Who knows how that's gonna happen? But whatever. And the point is, this was actually a pretty interesting scene. The way that they're handling Yelena is actually pretty good. And so, can we get a recap of the last episode? Screw that. Let me just move that really quickly. Okay, so the episode begins with Kate Bishop arriving at home. You know, she just got her ass kicked, and her mom's like, "What the hell happened?" And so they have like a heart-to-heart. And it's a nice moment because Kate's like, you know what? I kind of realized that I'm out of my depths here. And she's a little scared, you know, because she almost died. Also because Hawkeye was like, get the hell out of here. This shit got really real really quickly. You kind of have to leave. I can't babysit you anymore. It was fun for a minute. Now it's not. So go home. And, you know, she's the mom's having a heart-to-heart. You're like, the most important thing you can have. It's a nice little moment. And then, you know, Kate's in the middle of the crossroads where she's like, man, do I want to continue thinking that I can be a superhero, or do I want to just, you know, be a normal person or change the world my own way? Do I follow after the footsteps of my idol or not? So she's contemplating that, and the mom's, you know, she's been a good mom, but here something interesting, very interesting happens. Kate tells her mom the things that they discovered about Jack. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Jack is played by Tony Dalton, and he's a dude with a mustache. And so he's playing, well, he's the mom's boyfriend, basically, right? And Hawkeye and Kate discovered that Jack is the head of a company called Sloan Incorporated, Sloan something, and apparently they launder money for the clown boys. I forget their names. The Jumpsuit Boys or something, whatever. It's a really stupid group, but whatever. So his company's been laundering their money. And so she tells the mom, and the mom kind of like, just like, okay, I'll look into it. And to me at this moment, I was like, red flag here. That is not a normal reaction to possibly criminally incriminating news. And so I was like, I can have people who can witness this. I immediately went like, oh no, the mom's the villain. The mom's a bad guy. God, immediately. It's because I don't know, it felt really fake. The reaction was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll look into it. It's one of those things where there should have been a little bit like, no, the natural reaction for a person is like, no, wait, no, I think you're wrong. No, that's impossible. No. Like, I mean, if she really loved the guy and all that stuff, it's like, no, you deny it. And then you're like, you know what? All right, fine. I'll look into it, but you're wrong, or something like that. That's what a normal person does. That's what a normal reaction is. Here, it was just like, okay, I'll look at it. I was like, damn it. for one part, I was like, okay, this means that my theory about Jack being a red herring could be true. But the other part is like, man, did they have to do it that easy, that cheap? Anyway, whatever. Moving on. So that was my feeling at the moment. Then we get to see Maya getting, stitched up from getting hit by an arrow and ripping it out of her chest. And Ziri, I don't forget this guy's name. I honestly forget everybody's name. I'm terrible with names. But anyway, the other dude, he's his assistant, the other only guy who speaks, sign language, is trying to talk her out of going after Ronan, which is really weird. Again, none of this makes any sense to me, because Hawkeye told them that Ronan is dead, right? That's what he said. Ronan is dead. She doesn't believe him because of reasons. I don't know why she doesn't believe him, but she doesn't believe him. And so Hawkeye goes after that guy, and after Yuri, I'm gonna call him Yuri just cause I forget his name. So he goes after Yuri, and he basically threatens him to get Maya to back off, or there will be consequences. And what he's saying here is he still believes that Ronan is alive. So instead of being like, Ronan is dead, just fucking get over it, things are getting crazy, we have an Avenger on our tail. All right, so that's major league, buddy. That's the dude who deals, one of the dudes who deals with worldwide planet-ending problems, and he's got his sights on you. You gotta slap her and be like, get the hell over it. He's done. He was nice. He let us walk away. Let's just pretend that this happened. Let's just move on, accept that he's dead or whatever. But no, I think that, again, goes to one of the issues of the show, that this show's kind of forced. And they're really trying to force this Maya storyline for some reason. I don't know. And so next we get to probably the most interesting scene in the entire episode, and that's Kate going to her apartment, who was the apartment was set on fire and then got the sprinklers and all that stuff. And there she has Yelena waiting for him. And of course, this is okay. First off, Yelena looking like a normal girl, I thought was hysterical in a way, but also was like, man, this is like the weirdest way an assassin could show up forever, anywhere. And this conversation, basically, it's, long story short, this is a very interesting scene. The whole way that it's handled, the implied threat, all that stuff, handled really well. I wish that Kate, the only thing that I wish I would have changed about here is Kate actually trying to plan out a way that she could maybe best the Black Widow assassin Yelena here, and Yelena basically showing immediately that no, you're outmatched here. You don't stand a chance. So like I said, fantastic scene, fantastic, phenomenal. And here's the gist of it. Basically, Yelena shows up and she's like, hey, where's Hawkeye? So that's the long and short of it. Or actually no, a little bit longer than that. It's like, hi, I'm Yelena. I'm Natasha's younger sister. I want to kill Hawkeye. Where is he? And that's what happened there. It's a very long scene and it's very interesting, but that's the long and short of it. That's what happened there. So I'll move on. But again, great scene, tension, the charm. Like, hey, yeah, I'm joking around, but this is actually a threat. It's kind of like a mob scene. I loved it. It's fantastic. Next, we get to see Hawkeye, who's going to see, I believe, Grills, to ask him to hold his dog. Now, for those of you who don't remember who Grills is the, I guess I didn't see him. I don't get him in the image here. Grills is the firefighter, the big black dude who stole the Ronin suit. So again, I can't point this out enough. The dude is a criminal. He stole property. Like, he went into somebody's burning building and stole their shit. Why is everybody overlooking this? I don't get it, but whatever. He goes to that guy's apartment to ask him to take care of a dog that's not even his. Like, if I'm not mistaken, that's supposed to be Kate's dog, or it was a stray, so you can literally just let him go. So, I don't know. It's weird. The dog doesn't even have a name still. Anyway, so he goes there, and we go back to the conversation between Kate here and Yelena, and they're talking about macaroni and stuff like that. Like I said, great scene. Fantastic. Extremely well acted. Freaking Florence Pugh is a fantastic actress. Haley Steinfeld's also a fantastic actress. The only thing, like I said, I would have changed here is maybe her trying to strategize a way that she could like get a weapon or something, and Yelena immediately shutting that down so you could see how outmatched she really is. But it's very well acted. It's a very long scene, but you kind of want it to last a little bit longer because it's a buildup of tensions. But I gave you the long and short of it. Hey, my name is Yelena. I'm Natasha's younger sister, and I'm here to kill Hawkeye. Do you know where he is? That's long and short of it. And we also found out something else. We found out that Yelena got hired by somebody to kill Hawkeye. And so Kate asks like a very simple question. It's like, hey, do you know who hired you? Because maybe they're the bad guy. I mean, the person who hired you is telling you, yeah, Hawkeye's the bad guy, but I don't think Hawkeye's the bad guy. So are you sure you know who hired you? Because they're probably the bad guy. And Yelena is like, that's stupid. But I'll look into it, maybe, because it actually started to make a little bit of sense, because I really don't know. I'm just taking somebody's word for it. By the way, she didn't say that. I'm just kind of like putting words in her mouth. And so, yeah, Yelena just gets out of there. She jumps out the window and makes a very dramatic exit. And Hawkeye basically accepts that he's going to sleep in Grill's couch in a very uncomfortable way. Like his back is gonna hate him the next day. Look at that. That's the worst possible way you can sleep in a couch. Just like, get the dog on the floor, you know, and then you lay down like a normal person. Whatever. So, the next day we get to see that the feds or cops show up for Jack they want to arrest him for questioning, and the mom's like, yeah, I looked into it, and it turns out that yeah, things are shady, so I called the cops. And Jack's like, I've never worked a day in my life. I don't know what they're talking about. I only know one Sloan. And here, honestly, I'm like, man, Jack was actually trying to be a good dude, man. You know that How to Be an Stepdad book. He was doing it because he's a clown, but he's a nice dude. So they're railroading Jack. No, why would they railroad Jack? And so things are starting to kind of make sense. And you're like, man, the mom really is the villain here. She's really going to be one of the baddies here, and she's the reason why she was dating Jack was so that she could use his name and all this stuff, blah blah. All right, things are starting to come together, and Jack is going to jail. No, poor Jack. Anyway, so then we get Hawkeye go to a memorial for Natasha and the Avengers, and he basically, I'm very sorry for what I have to do. So kind of like foreshadowing that or hinting that he's going to do something that Natasha is not gonna like. It's a scene with a lot of heart, and it's a fantastic scene. This episode actually has a lot of heart in general. Like you get the heart with the mom, you get the heart to heart here with the Natasha, you get the very tense Yelena scene. It's great. And so Kate is in the middle of a crossroads. She's like, all right, I can stay out of this, or I can go and help my hero. And so she decides, you know what? I'm going to go and help Hawkeye. So basically she starts stalking him. Not stalking him. She just starts calling him like a crazy person and leaving a whole bunch of voice messages. And she looks like a crazy person. You ever met that person who just leaves a whole bunch of voicemails over and over because you don't answer, and they can't stop? It's like, why aren't you answering? Listen, I'm not a crazy person, but I know this sounds crazy because I have to keep sending you messages. It's all your fault. It's not a good look, Kate. It's not a good look. Anyway, so we get to these two clowns again, who I forget their names. The Jumpsuit Boys. Is it a Jumpsuit Boys? I don't know. But anyway, they basically get a message from Hawkeye. He shoots an arrow at them, and there's a message in the arrow, and the arrow basically says, "Meet me at blah blah blah. Tell Maya to meet me somewhere alone." And you're like, yeah, that's gonna happen. That's a thing that's gonna happen. She's gonna show up alone, right? Then Hawkeye has a conversation with his wife, basically telling her, yeah, hey, things are starting to get crazy here, and I kind of have to do something crazy. And basically what he's saying, all right, so Maya, turns out that Maya had the watch from the Avengers facility. Again, we still don't know squat about this watch. She also had a list of like information about me and the kids, so things are starting to get dangerous there. I have to get involved. Now it makes sense that Hawkeye is getting deeply involved here. Before, not so much. Now, a lot. And he alludes that he's worried that the big guy or the boss is going to actually get involved. So he's mentioning that there's a bigger villain here. There's somebody else at play that we don't know about, and it's, again, it's interesting stuff. It's curious. Who could this be? And people start speculating. We're assuming at this point, all right, it has to be Uncle, right? Because Uncle is supposed to be the boss of Maya's dad, and so We're assuming that's who he's alluding to, but it could be somebody else. Anyway, moving on. So Hawkeye's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay a little bit longer. I love you, blah, blah. And this leads to a big fight scene, right? So Maya is waiting for whoever to send the message in an arrow to appear, to show up at the designated place, right? And she's covered by Yuri, has the sniper. She's covered by the rest of the Jumpsuit Boys who are hiding around. And so naturally, Ronan shows up, or Hawkeye dressed as Ronan shows up, and he beats everybody up before he actually starts fighting with Maya. And this particular scene, well, actually, I thought it was pretty clever the way they handled this, because there's gunshots going on and stuff, and Maya doesn't notice it because she's deaf. You know, she can't hear, and so it's one of those things that you're like, okay, correct me if I mean, I get it, it's wrong, because if a gun goes off, you feel it in your body, right? You don't have to hear it. You actually feel the words, because it's a bang. You actually feel it go through your body a little bit. So you don't just hear it with your ears, or you see like a flash with your eyes. You feel the shake of it, the power of it in your body. That's actually how you can kind of tell when a gunshot's real or not, or if it was, inserted or something. The resonance, there's a resonance in your body or whatever, but they want to handle it, they want to play it this way, and they did. And that leads to a fight between Ronan and Maya. And this fight was weird, because let's just say I didn't love it, because we know this is Hawkeye, right? This is Hawkeye. This is an Avenger. He should be able to take down a random nobody, no issues, right? Like, very easily. Especially he has a sword. Now, afterwards, while the fight's going on, it's actually a pretty close fight. But while the fight's going on, you're like, okay, apparently Hawkeye didn't want to kill her, so maybe that's why he was holding back with the sword, and actually that ends up becoming a hindrance and more than an asset. But the point is, he beats her in the fight, right? And so afterwards, he's explaining to her, like, yeah, I'm Ronan. If you come after me or any of my family, I'm gonna fucking kill you or whatever. Now, he could have just killed her there, but I guess he wants to threaten her for some reason. And also he's like, yeah, actually your boss, that's who sent me to kill your dad. So your boss gave me the intel that led to me killing your dad. So go be pissed off at him. So Maya's like, you're lying. I don't believe you, or something for that. She's doing sign language. It's not as fun, but whatever. He's trying to relate to her, like, oh yeah, we're both weapons, but we're being manipulated by the wrong people or whatever. Blah blah blah. Maya then decides, you know what, F you, and she wants to kick his ass, but basically she gets stopped by Kate Bishop, who's there, right? Kate Bishop shows up, shoots an arrow against the sword that Maya had, and ends up saving Hawkeye, right? And then they walk away. And here's the interesting part. Or actually, not interesting, the massively stupid part. So Kate figured out where Hawkeye was because she traced his phone, right? We've seen her do this before, and I said it was stupid, because you would think that Hawkeye would have an untraceable phone, because, he's on the run. And Kate very easily traced him. Now, why couldn't a Black Widow assassin do the same thing? I'm assuming she's got pretty high-level contacts, and she couldn't do the same thing, just trace his phone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dario, maybe she doesn't have his phone number. Okay, well, why didn't she just get his phone number when she went to visit Kate? She could have just been like, hey, give me your phone. All right. Oh, Clint Barton. Thank you. Thanks for the information. This is actually what I needed, because I can trace his fucking phone. Stupid. I know. I get it. It's beyond stupid. And it's one of the, again, we're going back to the whole same old thing of this show. It's kind of forced. They're really forcing stuff. And so Maya then gets visited by Yuri, who was like, oh man, I'm so happy you're not dead. And Maya is like, where were you? Where were you the night that my dad got killed? You were second in command. Why weren't you there? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What does that matter? You just fought Ronan. What happened? He got away. And so he's like, I don't know. I didn't get the call. So now we're starting to see that, ooh, this dude's actually, he might be shady. He might be a shady guy. And Maya's like, deuces, I'm getting out of here. So this leads to, we're back to Kate and Clint, and Kate's basically telling him, like, oh yeah, I just found out that who this Jelena chick is and all these issues. And here I thought this was weird. This is daytime. This is the morning. So how long were they in this freaking Uber? It took them a really long, I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, so they arrive at Gorill's house, I think, and here we see that well, we don't see anything in that one. Here we get to see that Kate's mom is being followed by Yelena. And here I was like, man, the mom's the bad guy. Because Yelena's they're gonna meet up, and we're gonna learn that she's the one that hired her. Man, that's BS. But she doesn't go in. So I'm like, is Yelena, was I wrong? Was Yelena just kind of following the mom to put pressure on Kate or something, or see if she met up with Hawkeye or something? I don't know. And so we get to see, we're back here at Grill's apartment, and I don't know why they're at Grill's apartment. The dude's a thief, but whatever. We learned that Kate thinks that Grills is cool. And here they get a text from, Kate gets a text from an unknown number, and it says, Kate Bishop, I found out who hired me. Eleanor Bishop. Thought you deserved to know. So Kate's like, no fucking way. That's crazy. My mom, what? No, that's my mom. But Eleanor Bishop is Kate Bishop's mom, by the way. And here's a picture for confirmation. And here we get to see the big shocker of this episode, the biggest news. And Kate's like, who the hell? We see a picture of a dude in a white suit, and with a white coat. I'm sorry, a big, kind of chubby, bald dude, wear a white jacket, and the mom, and Hawkeye's like, man, this is the guy who I did not want to get involved. This is the guy I've been afraid of the whole time. Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and I don't know, and it is actually the Kingpin from the Daredevil series. So everybody's losing their shit, including me. I'm like, holy shit! They introduced Wilson Fisk finally. So things are starting to happen here. First off, and this might be kind of a spoiler alert, but I don't think it's a big spoiler, but in Spider-Man, they introduced that Matt Murdock's in there. So introduced Daredevil to the MCU. Kind of officially. Now, if you guys remember, if you go back to, if you ever watched the Daredevil Netflix series, I highly recommend it. If you never watched it, it's fantastic. It's probably, for me, it was the best thing on Netflix for a very long time. That series, it starts right after the attack on New York. And that's why kind of they get, like, their office is really cheap because it got destroyed in the Chitauri invasion. So they've always kind of been a part of this universe, just not directly. It's always been kind of like an indirect thing. Here it's official. They're getting them in there. Matt Murdock appeared in Spider-Man. He's there. We see him. He does stuff. He communicates with Spider-Man. And now we're getting Wilson fucking Fisk, the Kingpin, probably one of the greatest villains they have for the normal heroes in Marvel, appearing in Hawkeye. And this is going to be the big bad of the show. I'm 100% in. Things just got real very quickly. This can no longer be a kid's show because the Kingpin is a fucking psychopath. You can't have a kid's show and the Kingpin in it. It doesn't work. And so now we can begin to speculate. So Hawkeye is afraid of the Kingpin, or okay, let's try to make things logical. So Hawkeye found out about Kate's mom. Hawkeye found out about Maya's dad, where he was going to be, via the Kingpin. That's what he said. The boss told me where to go. Your boss told me where to go. So it could be that he worked with the Kingpin, or that he helped the Kingpin become the Kingpin. I don't know. But for one reason or another, Hawkeye, again, this is a former Avenger who is also like an assassin, is afraid of the Kingpin. So if I have to guess, it's more of that he has information about him more than anything else. And now we get into other stuff. Will Daredevil make an appearance? Will he? He should. He definitely should. Will Spider-Man make an appearance? I don't think so, but it'd be cool. Will Wilson Fisk actually be the big bad of this particular series, or is he just going to make a minor appearance, or is this the only thing we're going to see? I don't know. The point is, things are starting to get interesting. Finally, this episode, what'd we get? We got a lot of heart. We got a lot of heart-to-hearts. We got the very tense, very interesting conversation between Yelena and Kate. That was fantastic. Very well acted. They're actually getting a bunch of really great actors for this show. Even Vera Farmiga is fantastic. Vera Farmiga is the mom. So I don't know. But the point is, I'm starting to get excited finally for this show. For after, a couple of episodes of me being like, this is kind of like a stupid kiddie show. They're ruining it. It had so much potential. Now they're doing something with it. And I'm actually legitimately looking forward to the next show. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they they build up from here. Hopefully we get Kingpin actually becomes the actual big bad, or they set him up for a new Daredevil. Hopefully at the end of this thing, they're like, Daredevil season 4 coming soon, and you're like, ah, we're Punisher up here again. I don't know. This is madness. This is fucking madness. Actually, the Punisher showing up might be actually extremely cool here, because him and Clint Barton, they have some stuff to talk about. But anyway, that's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch. Live streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 10 a.m. ish. I don't know if I'm going to do anything for Christmas. Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. Also on Instagram, if you want to follow me at DarioSTW and at Super Dario World. As always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.